Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Welcome back. Quicker than anticipated. It was meant to be every 2 weeks, but we're back a bit earlier than normal. Welcome back to Let's Talk with Imam Sab, Imam Asim himself. How you doing, Imam Sab?
Thank you very much, Naz. I'm good. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, everyone. Welcome back to Let's Talk with Imah. It's a privilege and a pleasure to have our host, the one and only Nazim Hamid, aka Naz H. Might as well do abbreviations for all of us. So Naz H, NH in the house, to do this podcast. Alhamdulillah, we've got a lot on the agenda, and we thought we'd review 2021. And who better to do a review with than the one who reviewed 2020? And for that, I'd like to introduce and welcome someone who's been on this platform before. A very, very good friend of mine, in need of no major introduction. I welcome Akif Wasim onto the podcast. Welcome, Akif.
Assalamu alaikum.
Islam.
How you doing, everyone? Assalamu alaikum, Naz. First time I've met you. Yeah, thanks for having me back. The person with the worst memory, you've got to do with the review of last year and this year. So inshallah, we'll go forward and do that. But just before we start, it's been a year with lots of challenges. We had pandemics. We've had royal deaths this year.
Oh yes,
we've had
yes.
royal births.
Good point.
Duchess of Sussex had their kid. We've had Boris Johnson, who's had a kid. And I think that's his second kid, isn't it? Is that whilst he's been in power? And congratulations to yourself, Imah, on your
royal
little
baby.
one. Yeah, your
No way.
Yes.
Since when?
Oh,
Eh?
do you not know?
When did you have a baby?
It's a camera.
Oh.
It's
No
my cousin.
text, no matai, nothing. Where's
Well,
the
your
matai,
brother's
man?
from Medina Munawwara.
Mashallah.
Clocked on straight away.
I didn't clock on. I've not been told
but
this
get this as
information.
well.
You've not
know-
checked WhatsApp, that means.
But get this, so born on Christmas Day. So obviously, when it comes to the names, obviously you're going to be thinking about, naming them
Subhanallah.
after influential people who were born on that particular day, people who are revered, throughout the world. So, on the 25th, I can only think of one person that you need to name your little one after, and that's Qaidi Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah, I hope. So one of those names needs to be in there.
I thought you were going to say Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, man. Isa,
I thought you were going to say Isa alayhi
yeah,
salam.
well, Qadi Azam was born on that day as well,
So
yeah.
I'm sure there'll be a Muhammad or a Ali in that name somewhere.
Yeah, definitely.
We'll keep posted on that one.
We'll come back to that, we'll come
yeah,
back.
we'll
Let's
come
not
back
let's
to
not
that,
go too
inshallah.
much into it. You
Okay.
didn't know?
I didn't know
Ah,
about
yeah.
this.
Go on,
Welcome,
lad.
welcome to the Fatherhood Club.
Thank you,
Welcome
yes.
to the Fatherhood.
New chapter in life.
New chapter in life.
It's
Big
an-
blessing. What I say now, when you obviously, did your missus have it here or?
Yeah, she's
your
here.
missus- Mashallah.
You didn't know that as well?
I didn't know that.
Hey, you must not talk to your mum often.
No.
I
Didn't
swear
know.
to God.
We kept out of the loop there, mate.
Your mum knows.
Matain shine, please. Jalebi.
Your mum knows.
Matain, everything.
Your mum knows. Your brothers know. You're
I
like, come on,
didn't
Nazar,
know.
what you doing, man?
I've just been told right now. Brilliant news.
We can't have because I sent you the
Alhamdulillah.
agenda and you were written on there.
Alhamdulillah.
Unless you thought that was a bit of a hoax.
I was thinking, man, I was like, these maybe your future plans. Is that's you want some advice, things like that. But no, alhamdulillah, brilliant. That's fantastic news.
Yeah.
All
But we'll
round.
come back to that.
We'll come back to that.
But Aki's touched on some good points there. He's mentioned some good things there about what's happened in the year, the royal deaths and stuff.
Yeah.
And if we look at what we're discussing today, obviously tonight we're going over 2021 in its entirety as a review. And if we was to follow on from last year, we was actually coming out of possibly somewhat coming out of a pandemic. But yet we're not out of a pandemic because I think we're going back into another lockdown. So, I remember in January there was some easing of the restrictions, and then they brought restrictions back. And I relate that from the madrasa perspective because as an institute, we, from September to December, were operating on site, on campus. So the kids were back in the madrasa. And we had a reduction of children studying because of the direct impact of the COVID pandemic. And a lot of kids, parents didn't feel it was safe, etc., for whatever reason. So our numbers did drop. And then I think they announced in January that we're going to go down into into another lockdown, which I think they went for, was it 2 months?
Yeah, 2.5 months, wasn't it?
2.5 months. And at that point, I think that's when if I was to bring a bit of football in, our grassroots seasons were completely cancelled from that point. We had a bit of hope, and then...
Yeah, I mean, it was a difficult time, wasn't it, for the kids? And I think the difference between the first and second pandemic was the first one, we didn't actually know what the hell
First
was
and second
happening.
lockdown.
Oh, sorry, lockdown, yeah.
Pandemic's been the same, yeah.
All the way through, hasn't it? Yeah, the first, second lockdown. First one, we didn't have a clue, and it was scary to some extent because, there was the thing about, if you bring it into the household, your elders are going to pass away, they're going to catch it, they're going to die. There was all that risk, and I remember from the first one last year where I didn't go see my mum and dad. They're across the road. For a good couple of months. We were FaceTiming, and we were, that ridiculous at one point. And as we got used to it, there's the cause and effect of it. I mean, a lot of us did catch it. So by the second one, we kind of knew what limitations we had to have, and how not to mix. For kids, though, and coming from a teaching perspective, it was devastating for them. Not only from the educational side, but what you forget is school, madrasa. There's a social side to that. They get to see their friends, depending on where they're from. They have that little time with them. It's all the play aspect of it as well. And from a mental health point of view, I've seen firsthand how devastating that was. During that pandemic, I managed to get an exception. So, for those who don't know, I teach ICT in a local secondary school, and obviously kids don't have software; they don't have hardware. So I was able to go in, get this exception from the head teacher, and it was a government exception we played on.
Yeah, really.
Then I'm saying to the kids, look, if you want, you can't do your IT work at home, come in. And suddenly I've got the whole class coming in, and I'm thinking, well, this is weird. You've got a situation which normally all kids don't want to come to school. They want the holidays, and here were kids coming in, and that was when I started realizing a little bit that, look, this is more than not everyone's enjoying being at home. Not everyone's enjoying that sort of time off, because essentially you're stuck, aren't you? You're limited in what you're meant to do, and the catch up as well. How the kids are going to catch up, I don't think that's been. We've had a full year. I don't think that's happened properly yet, and we're going to have a generation of these kids that are going to come through, which are missing. I've missed out on key fundamentals, whether it's English, maths, whether it's in the sciences, whether it's in any of the others. The government weren't meant to invest and do all this tuition program and get kids up to speed, but so far it's been a lot of talk and nothing much has come from it. So that's from the educational perspective. I know you touched on the football and the health side of it as well. The fact that you couldn't go to the gyms, you weren't able to go out and play team sports, which is a lot of people, again, another mental health and social impact was massive as well. But I think one of the big things I found towards the end as well, and it seems like a small thing, but haircuts from professionals was made illegal. You weren't allowed to go to your hairdresser and get a haircut. Yeah. So we had all these,
undercover barbers.
Nazim, what were you doing?
With me, I would cut
for your haircuts, because I know you like
DIYing
your fades and that. Serious?
Yeah. Just do it yourself. Do my beard myself, by my tash. Yeah. Barbers mess it up.
Rick Ross.
They mess it
my
up.
My G, if you put those glasses on, you are our Rick Ross.
My glasses, they're in the car. Should have bought them in, actually, mate. Do the Rick Ross grunt, huh? So he goes the huh. But anyway, brother made some fantastic points there. I think.
And I tell you, 2-0, Manchester United are losing 2-0. Sorry, lads.
No,
I just had to throw it in. Oh, it's offside.
It's offside.
Sorry, boys. I've actually got the football on at the same time, so 2-0.
It's very interesting. The first lockdown was very, very daunting. I think, brother Akif's right. It was the element of the unknown. I think the panic buying was crazy, man. The milks and the toilet roll sagas. And I think
but that was more 2020. In 2020, that's what we've seen. In 2021, like you said, we were more prepared of the next lockdown. And as a madrasa, which is my line of work, what I do, what we have trained to do and what we do and what my profession is, we found that as an institute, we were better prepared to take teaching online.
Yeah.
And with the teaching online, we were so well prepared now that we actually started teaching from home via the Zoom classes. So we went onto Zoom, and Zoom obviously shot up. It was amazing.
Zoom was the biggest thing. Teams and Zoom
and we were good there, because for 3 months then we taught online. And then I think in Ramadan, it eased off and everyone was back in.
I mean,
with social distancing
that
in
was
place.
another big thing about these pandemics. For years, people have talked about the impact of IT and how it would be felt in the normal home, and how people will start working from home, and it would be saving electric and saving, the carbon footprint. And they've had a big push this year, haven't they, on
Yes,
the
electric.
26 and all the global warming and stuff. So last year and beginning of this year was where we saw that come into effect. And now we've got the order where if you can work from home. So again, a lot of companies are going towards that, which is going to turn industry upside down a little bit, because we've got all this office space, especially in Bradford. You go near interchange and you got, these big buildings which they've invested so much money in, and now they're not needed. People are going to be working on half the space. So it's going to turn industry around a little bit, that as well.
Yeah, gas and electric prices are up 50% as well.
Yeah.
So that's a big increase. That
is that a
it's
big
50%.
Is that a big knock on from Brexit though?
Yeah, but that's an increase. There's an increase in utility bills. You're saying there's going to be increase in council tax.
Yeah.
There's going to be an increase in VAT anyway.
Yeah.
Eventually, they're gonna do that. There's already an increase in materials, building materials. So I know that because we're in the process of setting up the nursery and the faith cave and that stuff, and it's cost us. Wood has cost us double the price.
Wow.
Plaster, wood, these things have just what was cheap before now is boom.
Oh, we're seeing the impacts on food as well, and everyday grocery shopping. That's going up through the roof as well. If you notice very soon as well when you go to your various takeaways and buy your chicken fillet burgers, that these are creeping.
Going to go
slowly.
up 50p to a pound.
The Cokes and all the various drinks that we're having, all of them are going up slowly. And I think that's we've ended up in sort of the worst case scenario of this perfect storm where material goods are going up. We've got the gas prices and we've got the impact of
house
Brexit.
prices, car prices, man.
Prices,
Cars are expensive now.
Yeah.
They're holding value. Some an old 06, 07 plate is 3.5, 4 grand now. Before you could have got them for $2,000.
Bradford did vote to get out of the EU, and this is the impact of it now. So
along with the COVID pandemic, this is an impact. You're right, absolutely, you're right. And so we have had a crazy year. I think even this year's been not as crazy in terms of the pandemic. They've had the lockdown and then they've come out of the lockdown. I remember Ramadan. We had a Ramadan where it wasn't a normal Ramadan. It was a unique Ramadan. Last year there was no Ramadan for us in the masjids. It was Ramadan at home.
That's right.
This year it was Ramadan in the masjids, but it was social distanced. But alhamdulillah, I thought more people came. People were interested in coming. There was some skepticism within the minds of people with the spread of COVID, etc., the variants that were starting to appear, which, we're seeing now as well. So we do have that. And
I mean, as we went along the year, I know we opened up slowly, but it was, we had this big Freedom Day, didn't we, in July, where all the restrictions were sort of gone, and people suddenly flocked out back as if nothing had gone wrong and everything was gone. And the threat was always there from this thing. We've seen the Delta variant come through, and there was, but in the summer you're always going to get. The cases are going to drop. It was always going to be winter that was going to be the issue, and here we are again. I know today he's announced that there's no further restrictions, which is a little bit weird considering that you've got Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland all putting in.
He's clever. I'll tell you what's going to happen, Akif. As soon as that New Year's over, bang, out come the restrictions.
This is the problem though. He's playing politics at a time when it should be health. And this is what's annoyed a lot of people with the whole pandemic itself. It's all been about politics, how he's going to not lose the vote, how he's not going to lose popular opinion, as opposed to what's best for everyone, which is proved with all the latest stuff that's come out with all the parties that all the Tory workers had last year. All this
contradiction,
sort of stuff
wasn't it?
Yeah, it's and I think you touched on it last time as well. It's a case of do as we say, not as we do. Which is, like you said, a contradiction, and it just sort of annoys everyone. And going forward now, are people going to follow the rules?
Yeah, but Akif, they didn't. Last year, it was eat out. It wasn't a case of health first. It was a case of economy first.
Yeah.
And even now, it's there's the economy element. Look, if they shut retail down now, the New Year sales.
No,
They get me. So
I understand
I
that.
can
but
see,
it's
this government is very money orientated.
it is, and considering there's no money left because they've paid a load of money in furlough out. But why does the variant of COVID change when you cross the border into Scotland? In Scotland, you can only have social groupings of
Up to
3
6,
families. I think it's
three families. And
three
six.
families, or the rule of 6 is back in there. So you cross that border. And it changes there, and you come back over, and it's non-existent here. There's something going on there, isn't there? And
I'd give it
it's
another
annoying.
week,
So
and he's gonna whack it.
I can
so
imagine,
if you look right, so it's been the last couple of years, COVID, different variants are coming through. If you catch COVID, they tell you to isolate till you're better. Yeah. So there's this. I believe in the elders, the older generation, right? And I've seen it with my own parents and stuff, and I've seen a lot of elderly people with underlying health conditions, unfortunately pass away due to COVID or based on COVID related deaths. Yeah. Now, these elderly people, I think, when the whole self-isolating and you can't see no one, no one can come see you, can't give you that osla. It's a big impact on our elders because that's all they look for. I'll give you an example. Yeah. It's like if your dad's not well. And your dad's got COVID, bruv, your dad's missus, your mum, your family, everyone in the house will say, right, you stay in your room, we're not going nowhere near you.
That was what was happening, yeah.
It's still happening. It's still happening to a lot of olders because then olders think other people have passed away. It is a pandemic. There is a bamari. Do we get the booster? Do we not get the booster? The elders are thinking, how many boosters do we need? So I think there's a lot of things that we don't know, like you're saying, in terms of what they put forward in terms of the vaccines. Now, double jab is what is widely being accepted everywhere you go, whether you're traveling, whether you're going out, whether you want to go to an event, football game, they're going to ask you for your double jab. Or alternative is...
Talking about jabbing,
PCR.
You've been vaccinated?
I was putting it off for a while because, I don't know, man, there's just so many opinions on it. But
do you believe in the conspiracies? Because there is the anti-vaccine crew out there, and we've had lengthy discussions on this.
The anti-vaccine crew is basically saying that you don't need the jab if you can basically get it. So if you've been double jabbed and you've still got COVID, then what's the point of me getting jabbed? My body will fight it off anyway. That's what they're saying. The guys who created the jab and all that, they're saying that if families don't need it, then someone doesn't need to have the jab or whatever. But obviously, behind the vaccine itself, that's a science, isn't it? For your immune system, there's different ways of doing it. The Pfizer have done it different.
So have you got two? Yes,
I've got one done.
You've got one.
I need to get my second one done.
You've obviously key worker.
Well, not even that. I got it in November last year, didn't I? So going through the effects of that, I thought, you know what, I'm not. If I can avoid it, I'm gonna try to, get the vaccines and make sure that minimize the chance. And that's the thing that people don't understand. The vaccine doesn't prevent you 100%. Nothing gives you 100%.
Nothing in the world will.
Yeah,
what is other than Allah? If Allah wills,
exactly.
Which medicine can guarantee you safety from any illness out there?
And I think you'll know the hadith properly. There was someone who came to see the Prophet, and he left his camel untied. And you'll tell that one properly, won't you? You've got to take the precautions.
They said tie the camel, then rely on Allah.
Exactly.
Not tie the camel and expect the camel to just stay where it is, where you've left it. No. Tawakkul is, reliance in Allah truly is that you've got to do your part.
Exactly. So,
and if this is what science has told us, this is what the medical experts have told us, okay, there's not enough possibly research gone into finding whether this is, but in light of what is happening, this is the best step for us. They're saying do it. We're trusting their opinion. There's so many that have took it and nobody's died. So I don't understand where you're going to go with the millions that are fine or the 100,000 that are against it.
The other way you look at it, if you go to court, you don't go there and sort of represent yourself. You try to get the best solicitor there or the best barristers. Why? Because they're the experts in the field. If you are going to, Man United want a new manager, right? They're going out trying to get the best, or they're going to set a foundation so they can get the best there. Here, you talk to the medical experts.
Like a
They're the
mechanic,
ones-
you know,
exactly.
everyone has an
you go
expert
to-
in the
you
field.
go to your expertise, and these are the people. You can't go to man on the internet who's saying, "Oh yeah, this is this and this is that," and hasn't
Putting
got a
2 plus
degree
2
and
and
hasn't
making
got a
6
brain-
out of it.
Yeah, and got a brain cell between them. You're following people like that sometimes. It is what it is. The majority of people are saying that this is the way to go. And the other thing to remember with viruses, like the flu virus that comes every year, it mutates, it changes. Every year the jab that comes out for the flu jab is slightly different, and they base it on the latest mutation. This is here to stay, and we are going to have another booster, and it's going to be a year-on-year booster if you want to, stay safe, and if you want to, get away from the impacts of it. Because it's not only the COVID, the immediate illness that I don't know if you boys have had it, but it's that after effect as well. The long COVID has crippled people.
Yeah, but the thing is, if you've got COVID, you've just got a normal cold or a flu, and if you test yourself, then that's just telling yourself you've got COVID, but you just got to sit alone. There's nothing exactly precise that's gonna be given to you, other than knowing that you've got COVID. So the thing is, a few years ago, before COVID, you could easily come into a place and be like, feel a bit slip, feel a bit run down today. Yeah,
but we were all doing that for the last 100 years.
That's what I'm saying. All of us,
Now
now
it's
you go, someone sneezes or someone coughs and be like, whoa. You could be in a supermarket or something. People will actually look at you funny.
That has been put into minds of people.
Yeah,
that has been put in minds.
But the thing is as well, and earlier in the year I went abroad. Abroad, everywhere is still wearing masks. In the summer people were wearing masks. In the autumn people were wearing masks. This habit of wearing the mask has become the norm in other countries. Whereas here, July we had Freedom Day, everyone's thrown them away, and now they're trying to reintroduce them. It's so difficult to.
Well, that asks me the next question. In 2021, any holidays you've been to, guys?
2021, no, I don't think this year. No.
So you've just been local, Bradford.
Just been local, Bradford. Can't really go anywhere.
Akif?
No, I thought I had enough. So me and a friend we went to Turkey. So pit stop. Yeah, we went to the south, hit the beach for a bit, and then went up to Istanbul just for a couple of days and had a look around the various mosques and took in a little bit of culture there, which was, interesting point. I went to the Hagia Sophia, and remember myself and yourself, Imah, we went to
Cordoba.
Masjid in Cordoba.
Yeah.
The contrast in that was quite, interesting for me, because we went to, in Cordoba, it was a masjid converted into a cathedral, but you walked in and it was a masjid, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You walked in and you had that feel. Here I went in and I walked in and I thought, this is a cathedral, so it was like a little bit of conflict there. Okay, they've taken our masjid there, here we've taken their cathedral. It was, and they've still got, the old pictures of Jesus on the walls.
There's pictures of
all the original stuff is on there, like they had in they scrubbed most of it. They had the ayats and the Quranic verses around the member and stuff, didn't they?
Yeah, in Cordoba, yeah.
So that was interesting, but thankfully, and that was one reason as well why I had the jab. So these restrictions, when they were lifted, I could actually get out and go.
Get out and travel a bit.
Yeah.
I went to Palestine in November. I went to Pakistan in February. Got married. And did I go anywhere else? I don't think I went anywhere else. So I managed to get 2 holidays in, 2 trips abroad.
How easy was it though for the first one?
Well, Pakistan?
Yeah.
Pakistan was PCR tests. Obviously, it was sort of coming out of, or somewhat, travel was okay. They allowed travel. It was just in the country that it was a bit more stringent and strict. I'm talking about the UK. Obviously, did the PCR test. Me, mum went out. In Pakistan, we went into a mini lockdown in Kashmir at the time I was out there. So getting out of there was a bit of an issue. I don't know if the sound's gone off. Okay, the sound's okay. So we had a bit of an issue going, traveling in and out of Kashmir. But it was okay. Pakistan's Pakistan. I didn't see nobody wearing face masks except in the town centre, maybe.
This was a worry though. When
Airport.
You are travelling now is, the fact that you're relying on these PCR tests and the lateral flow tests. What if you catch it and you're abroad? As you say, okay, Pakistan's all right because you're home, you can go home. You know, all of us have got homes there. But if you go to a third country, say,
Well, Palestine. This is what they said.
Yeah.
The rule was, or the guidance or guidelines they gave was the following. They said, if you are to catch it, then you would have to, if your PCR test comes back negative. So when I landed in Palestine, I had to do a PCR test there. Now that's in every country. I did that in Pakistan, got no issues. Went to Palestine, did the PCR test as soon as I landed, and said go straight to your hotel. Went to the hotel next morning before Fajr. Within 12 hours, right? You're okay to travel. You're okay to basically come out and enjoy your time in Palestine. So it was okay. But had it not been, then it was bang.
You stuck there for 10 days.
10 days you've got to, and my trip wasn't 10 days. My trip was only 7 days.
Wow.
So can you imagine worst case scenario?
I mean, this
Stuck
is the
Big
worry.
risk, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
a big risk.
Massive.
And
And that's why people are not traveling.
And this why the industry has been decimated there. It's one
Absolutely.
of the few in there. I mean, when I went, mine was a bit different because they had the COVID passports then. So essentially, I was just showing a piece of paper saying, "Hey, I'm okay," and they were like waving you through, not a problem. We had to fill in some locator forms, but with the exception of that, it was good to go. But travel's been an interesting one.
Palestine was awesome though. Just traveling in. Every time I mentioned last time on the podcast, every time is a new experience. But wow, I'll tell you what, it was unbelievable, and there was nobody there, no foreigners. Maybe 1% of foreigners. The rest were all local nationals, and they were like, wow, it was like, whoa, you made it through. How did you make it through, أخي? كيف أنت تخرج من بريطانيا إلينا? How did you get out of? How did you exit UK to get to us? كل شيء مغلق. Everything's closed. I says, Habibi, this is min Allah. Allah allowed it for us to come. Our intention was to travel to the Holy Land.
Yeah.
Do ziyarah, pray in Masjid Al-Aqsa. And today we're here. And 7 days, it was an awesome trip. And then back, and I've not been, abroad otherwise in that
So
time.
it's chilling for you when you're abroad and, you just drop in the Arabic lingo.
I love it. I get on with Arabic. Arabic,
You're buzzing, man.
I enjoy
That's
it.
a good buzz. I
Totally
mean, whenever
enjoy it.
I've gone, like when I was in Morocco, I only know a few basic Arabic. So,
Habibi.
Ya Habibi, kayfa khaluk? Bikhair. Alhamdulillah. Anta Muslim. Ana Muslim. Huwa. This, that. Then when I've run out of words to say, every taxi driver I used to do it. In Dubai, I did it for a bit. Speak Arabic to him until I run out of words to say, then just do the wata end.
It got you through, didn't it?
كيف خالو بخير
Any discounts?
حبيبي دعاء الحمد لله
Any discounts?
اللهم ذكرك وشكرك وحسن عبادتك. The guys like Ameen. Yeah, a few discounts. One of my mates is Hindu, so he used to be in the taxi. So I say, Anta Muslim. He says, taxi driver says, Naam. I says, Ana Muslim, alhamdulillah. Then I say, Huwa la Muslim. He's not a Muslim. And I say, Inshallah, one day he'll become Muslim.
Yeah. Good.
But yeah, Arabic, man, beautiful language.
Arabic is a beautiful language. And going to Palestine, Saudi Arabia, I mean, right now, actually, your brother just messaged saying that he's watching the podcast live from Medina Sharif
Subhanallah.
with Sheikh Wasim. Sheikh Wasim from Sheffield,
Subhanallah.
based in Manchester, Guidance Hub. They got a podcast as well.
Alhamdulillah.
So Sheikh Wasim and Cabs are watching it out in Medina Sharif. So the podcast is there. Alhamdulillah,
Alhamdulillah.
Under the shade of the blessed green dome of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So yeah, wicked. Do you think there's going to be any more lockdowns?
I think more controlled, isn't it? It's more like you can do this now. We're taking events out of the game now. We're taking this out of the game. You can't do this, but you can still do. I think it's much more controlled now, basically.
I think his problem is he's run out of money. His the furlough money.
They'll
That's
never
gone.
run out of money.
They might print.
Let's
some
not
more,
get into that.
But if they print more, then it's going to have a knock-on effect.
but
There's no value, is there?
There's internal politics going on with the Chancellor and the Prime Minister. So Sunak is going for his own. He knows Boris's days are numbered, so he's probably going to go for.
He's trying to build his own
own
profile
thing,
up more.
So he's restricting the money a little bit.
Because you take it easy on Boris, man.
Yeah,
Ain't how he's tuning in, man. Gets upset.
Listen,
No,
trust me, his
We don't want to upset Boris out here.
his days are numbered.
He's
now.
clueless.
Yeah.
I'd
And
say
not only
openly.
The thing is, so if
Akif is more fit to be a Prime Minister than Boris. I think he'll have enough votes from Fairbank United
God help us.
for all of us.
The
that
the
issue.
thing with it though is, so if the Chancellor is restricting money to him, what can he do? So he will be doing things like closing schools because there's no money involved in there. He'll be closing the sports down. He'll be limiting contact. So he'll
And he'll be deporting people as well. That's
Oh,
the new thing on the block, innit?
God Almighty, that's
Deportation laws.
that's
now.
We
another
look at that
half,
in it,
isn't
yeah.
Yeah,
Game
that's
over now.
another one. That's another one that's coming, and that's something.
You know what? This is how they do it, Akif. they just tip it, and then they pull back, and then they'll go back
Well,
in,
Imah-
and then it'll be legislated, and then you know what? Before you know it, you've lost your right. Now, I think it's not about those who are actually born in the United Kingdom. It's those who have come from abroad.
No.
No?
You could
Not
be.
my
You
understanding.
could be any
Was it dehumanization or something?
any ethnic background.
If you have got access to a passport of a separate another
Another
country,
country.
they can strip you of the British one.
Even if you're born here,
Born here, yeah.
you are a pure
Where
British.
your origin comes from, innit?
Whereas look at
So if your origin
Jamaica
comes,
windmill.
no,
yeah.
you got
What was it?
Windrush. Look at
Windrush.
Shamima Begum and where she's sat at the minute.
Yeah, but that's
that
because
was
of
different. That was a- actually-
she's a national
No, but
threat.
what
She
they
was-
say-
Is she a threat? Come on.
yeah.
okay,
Okay,
Yeah.
but
the media's.
Yeah. But
But you can see the narrative they've used to
that's
get
the
to this stage
yeah,
now.
that was the starting point. So that's the starting point. They've used that as a first case, and now they've used the Windrush generation. I mean, now you can see why our elders were always on about getting the passport and making sure that they've got the passport. The Windrush generation weren't that bothered about that. They came on their passports on their parents, and that was it. They've got to 50, 60, and suddenly they've been stripped of all rights, not allowed cancer treatment on the NHS. It was disgusting the treatment that they've had, and they've just taken it a stage further now. I mean, how is it fair that if we're all meant to be equal under the law, we're all meant to be British subjects, how is it that one person can be stripped of the nationality and the other one can't?
I think it's a crackdown on drugs. It's crackdown on drugs and things like that. So anyone from ethnic minority backgrounds who's got
Involved in crime.
and drug charges, then they can basically deport you. MP Imran Hussain stood up, man. He stood up on the House of Parliament. He did a passionate speech about it.
Yeah, I think our Muslim MPs
I watched
have
that.
they've-
Very
they have-
good speech. But Boris kind of played a move, man. He says, how are you saying? He said, you're trying to chuck our people out, and our dads have done all the work, grandfathers have done the work. But he did a very passionate speech, and Boris just kind of says, look at my front bench, mate. I've got 3 Indian people here on my front bench. What are you going on about? So
Yeah, he's got a diverse front. Yeah, I can see him.
yeah, he's got quite a diverse team.
He has, but come on. I mean, Priti Patel is
It is what it is, but
pretty
still,
extreme, isn't she? God Almighty, she's just the sort of epitome of the word coconut. There, isn't it? That she's a hardcore right winger in
Yeah.
brown skin. She's like worse than some of the white people that have been now extreme
Yeah,
racists.
yeah.
God bless her. Some of her views are, yeah.
Yeah,
Let's leave
okay.
that one
So I don't think there'll be another lockdown, but there will be
I
some
think there'll be
circuit break.
restrictions. I think there'll be some circuit breakers. I think there'll be restrictions coming on. I don't think they'll be as severe as before unless something dramatic happens. But yeah, otherwise it's let's just see how it goes. It's week to week with this guy, isn't it?
still 1-0 half-time. Newcastle, Manchester United. What is going on there? Disappointed at that. I thought Ralph's gonna come in and do some wonders, man.
You thought wrong, didn't you?
Well, you never know. It's game of 2 halves.
Akif.
Game of 2 halves.
I was saying, where do these sweets are nice? Where have these come from?
Well, which ones are they? Show us.
Sweet and sour ones.
Well,
Some American
show us.
ones, aren't they? No, these are. I've got the
Kalyan,
packet.
Kalyan,
That
Kalyan.
one.
These ones. The other ones.
Yeah, those.
Well, I've got
packets
this
over there.
cherry head here. Look, cherry head. I've got cookies and cream bites. I've even got some burgers in
What happened? You suddenly off the diet or something?
Japanese.
Japanese.
Yeah, seriously, the Japanese look.
Alright.
Japanese sweets.
So
But
no more.
these are sweets. It's called Candy Kingdom _UK.
Okay.
So I'll just pitch it. Candy Kingdom _UK. Go on Instagram, TikTok, wherever they've, and I think Snapchat. You can check it out and buy these sweets. So obviously they're being sold here in Bradford. Those who are local, they can get them for the kids. The American foreign sweets, basically foreign sweets
Okay.
in a very very Brexit.
Oh, I was saying that and tasted something like these before, but you know, they're
Yeah, very very Brexit, as they say.
nice.
Brexit sweets. So yeah, check it out. Follow them, and not just follow them, but buy them.
So festive season and all that, Imam Sab.
Ooh yeah.
Festive season, Merry Christmas, mate, and all that. Be careful if I should say that. I'm just saying what it is. It's the festive season.
Yeah. Don't take it out of
Anyone who
context.
calls
people.
this, screen records this and says Imam Sab and Nazim and his cousins are wishing each other Merry Christmas and all that.
Far from it.
Crazy much, but it's opinionated. People's opinionated. Well, to be fair, you gotta respect all cultures, all religions. You were talking about cathedrals and mosques and churches. All places. For me personally, it's all places of worship. 134,000 messages were sent by Allah.
24,000.
124,000, sorry. Maybe more, they said.
Yeah.
So maybe
Give or take.
Give and take.
But that's a number that Ibn Kathir
So,
worked at.
Allah Alam, what is the message? What different religions promote a God in different ways?
But the religion with Allah is Islam, and
Islam,
that is
without-
it.
without a
You know,
doubt.
okay, tolerance,
Without a
respect
doubt.
in its own place, but we are Muslim. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
La ilaha illallah
Allah
Muhammad
Muhammad. But what I'm
Rasulullah.
saying is,
Inna dina inda Allah al-Islam. So, yeah.
in a Western workplace, Western schools like the brothers on about, if it's Ramadan or it's Eid, people will say, "Hey mate, have a good Eid," or "Hope you have a good Ramadan." They'll say it wrong, or
Yeah.
Ramadan. Yeah. What I'm saying is, it's interesting. Mo Salah puts up a picture. Mo
Yeah.
Salah, the little dancer, puts up a picture with a beautiful tree in the back,
Yeah,
a Christmas tree with Christmas lights, and then his social media annihilating the new future goat potentially, and someone who advocates to sajda on a pitch, to give thanks to Allah for giving him that life. And what I'm saying is, what are your thoughts, Imam Sahib? Because we're here to let's talk. What are your thoughts on this matter? Wishing someone Merry Christmas. In what way can it be done? What's appropriate? I mean, I think some people, when you're off culture, growing up, you watch Home Alone, for example. Everyone's watching
Christmas
it.
movies.
It's a classic.
Christmas movies, yeah.
It's a day off. So whether people say they're celebrating Christmas or not, you're still given the day off from work. You're still given that time off to
That's
chill
because
out.
of the country we live
The
in.
country we live in.
It's part of Church of England. Christianity is the major religion in this country. The Queen's a devout Christian,
She's
Protestant,
head of the
church as well. Billions go through there, all sorts. I mean, I've been looking into doing a bit of research on that anyway, generally, and a bit of reading into that. And so in this country, yes, we are brought up in the country. We live in the West. We understand that. As Muslims, we must be tolerant. As Muslims, we shouldn't disrespect or swear at anyone. For Allah says in the Quran, you swear at another's God, they will swear at yours. Now, that doesn't mean to say that the other gods are right. No. You don't take it out of context. What Allah is telling you here is that you keep the honor of your own religion without, pointing fingers at others and causing harm to them. Harm as in, disrespecting anyone. You do your lakum dinukum waliya deen. For you is your religion, for us is ours. For me is mine.
Subhanallah.
That's fine. The Prophet ﷺ set parameters in Medina Munawwara where he allowed Christians and Jews to practice their religion within their own walls, within their own space. When Sayyidina Umar went into Palestine and he wanted to pray, he was in a church and they said, we've actually designated a part of our church for you to offer your prayers. And he says, no, respectfully, I'm going to go outside and pray. Then the Christians, they actually built the masjid for them.
Wow.
Called Masjid Umar, which is still preserved till today.
Wow.
And you would be surprised that the Church of Sepulchre, which is the oldest probably church in the world, Christian church, who's the custodian of those keys? Muslims. Every morning the Muslims open it, every morning the Muslims close it. So it's in the control of Muslims. Now, putting all that into, the Banu Najran came to the Prophet ﷺ, the Christians of Najran. The Christians of Najran came and the Prophet ﷺ hosted them. Did he compromise his beliefs? No. But the Prophet ﷺ wasn't someone to destroy nations, destroy people. That wasn't his message. As Islam grew over the years, over the centuries, over time, the last 1400 years, yes, Christians have lived under Muslim rule. Muslim Spain, Ottoman, Muslims in during the Ottoman Empire.
Yeah.
We've had other Muslim empires, huge, the Abbasids, etc., that have ruled. Christians have paid the jizya, they've paid the tax for living in a Muslim land, and they've been afforded the freedom and rights to practice what they want. But then, of course, you do business with them, you mingle with them, like we are here as a minority doing business with Christians, with non-Muslims, we mingle with them. Give us guidance, give us guidelines. So, great Imams like Imam Suyuti, great Imams like Imam al-Nawawi, great Imams like Imam al-Subki, and other great Imams throughout the years like Zahabi and Ibn al-Qayyim and others, they have given guidance on how to relate to non-Muslims when it comes to their festivals, when it comes to their times of worship for them. They've mentioned that, and they've mentioned categorically. Classical ulama have categorically mentioned it's reprehensible. You shouldn't be wishing someone else Merry Christmas. You shouldn't be having trees. You shouldn't be putting these lights up in this manner. And at that time of the year, it's for Christians. Let them do it. We're not stopping them. We're saying Muslims, you shouldn't. For if you give an inch, they would take a mile. You open slight door, they'll end up opening the full door. Today is this, tomorrow what is it going to be? Therefore, stay away from it. Right. Stay away. We're Muslims. We've got 2 Eids. We've got Eid al-Fitr, we've got Eid al-Adha.
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah, we've got our Eids. Friday is the day of Eid for us. We don't need to. You might say it's just a tree. But what does that tree represent? What is the story behind that tree? You might say it's just some lights. But what is the story behind that? Was Jesus actually born on the 25th of December? It's disputed. Even within Christianity, Christian sects within them, they don't accept Christmas to be. Some say it's in January. Some say it's in April. Christians have difference of opinion on this. But this is obviously, and a large majority say that there's a pagan festival, a pagan connection to the 25th of December. And when you put factor all of this, then we as Muslims, we know, we shouldn't, when you want to wish someone, have a good holiday, have a good festive period, carry on doing. Because what does Christmas mean? The Mass of Christ. Yeah, it's what's the significance behind that? What's the story behind that? Christians believe Jesus to be the Son of God. We do not believe that. And Christmas is basically them celebrating the birth of the Son of God. This is what they believe. We don't believe that. So when we are following that, what's going to happen? We're going to, you know what, it's fine for us. No, it's not fine for us. Just because you live here in this country doesn't mean that you have to lose your identity as a Muslim. You've got to find that line. Okay, there's a fatwa now come out from Al-Azhar, the largest, oldest Muslim university in the world. Yeah, it's perfectly fine. Merry Christmas, you can say. There's no connotation, nothing wrong. Big mashayikh, big scholars like Sheikh Habib Ali Al-Jifri and others, they are leaning towards that. But we put it on silent. We are, that's third time now.
Apologies.
We are, we are in that situation there. Now, I'm not of that opinion. Personally, I'm not of that opinion. There's enough Eids. There's enough for Muslims. Today we do this. Tomorrow, in 50 years, if we normalize this and make this, what's going to happen? Where's Islam going to go? The significance of Islam would decrease. Yeah. And it's, go ahead. So if you're working in a workplace, okay, no problem. You live in a country, take the holidays, take the pay, whatever. But, you've got to look at the connotations. You've got to look at the impact that this could have moving forward. And for this reason, stay away from. If in doubt, just get out. Leave it. Simple. And a lot of Muslims should do that. They shouldn't be, there is no doubt on this issue. It's clear. We take the guidance of the great scholars and we simply say we don't. And that doesn't mean you're disrespectful to your Christian neighbors. That doesn't mean you're disrespectful to non-Muslims. No. You're just saying that, there's Christians out there who don't expect you to say Merry Christmas, bro. You don't have to please the white man every time in that sense, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, you're right. I don't think that anyone expects anyone to say. You can just say, I will enjoy your time off.
Yeah, and there's many things. I mean, Aki, what's your take on it?
No, to be honest, it's a couple of weeks holiday for me.
Still.
So it's a couple of weeks holiday. The last 4 or 5 years, again, going back to my teaching, I have an exam coming up with the kids in January. And my kids are majority Muslim schools, so for them it's, okay, you're using these 2 weeks to revise. None of you celebrate Christmas. Make sure you're revising hard. And that's the approach to it. In terms of, they have Christmas jumper days at school.
Yeah.
I don't have a Christmas jumper. I'm not going to buy a Christmas jumper just for that. If I go in, I'll go in a normal jumper, or normally I won't participate. I don't think I've ever sent Christmas cards. It's not my thing. but no one's ever taken offence to it.
Exactly.
It's not my religion. They know that. The staff there appreciate that, and at the end of the term, it's okay. Have a good break.
Yeah.
Essentially, that's it. There are ways around it, and you don't have to go around. Don't have to overtly go around offending people, but it's like allow them to do it. It is their country, it is the main religion in this country. Allow them, respect it, like you said, Imam Sahib. But yeah, the only thing that probably one maybe downside to it is last couple of years the family maybe get together on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
But again, that's because everyone's free on that particular day.
Not specifically for
Not
Christmas.
Specifically for Christmas.
They do that on Eid. They might
yeah,
do that on a weekend.
exactly.
It's just one of
Yeah,
those
it's
where
one
we've
of
got
those
time.
where
Okay, you know what?
Everyone's off on that particular day. I think
Yes.
the last few years, I think the tradition in Bradford has become that all the lads will go and participate in a football tournament.
Yeah, we have the Christmas tournament frame too.
but
Yeah,
then it's a
yeah,
Christmas
yeah.
tournament though, so is that a jive?
I think they're monopolizing on that term.
They need to rebrand possibly to make that halal compliant. But yeah, but otherwise,
I'll have a word with
it's-
Sid and
yeah,
with
it's
Amaz.
cynical. But otherwise, it is a break for us, isn't it? And most people will have days off. Other people who work will take advantage of it and go on double time and triple time over the holidays. And hopefully, the trade-off will be that we get Eid off.
Well, the
at same
irony
time.
in all of this after this speech is my son was born on Christmas Day then. What do I do?
No, but he was also born on Qaid Azam Day in Pakistan. So
I'll take that.
take that bit. And,
I'll take that
it
and just
from
stick
there.
on
Thought of any names yet?
I've got a few in mind.
Inshallah.
Isa's probably top of the list, isn't it?
Oh, Muhammad Ali Jinnah.
Yeah, I think I'll stick to that one.
Yeah. Alhamdulillah. So yeah, wicked. I mean, okay, yeah, it's good. Look, people need guidance. They need clarity on it. People need to be told, straight up clearly how it is, what it is. Let's not, mix our words. Let's not beat around the bush. There is no grey area on this subject. There are Muslims out there who have motives to appease. There are Muslims out there who think that it will create better ties, and we can. I'm not saying don't be tolerant. I'm not saying be disrespectful. I'm just saying, lakum dinukum waliya din. For you, you've got your religion. Carry on. Do what you've got to do. For us, do we need to compromise ours? It's like they're saying, oh, it's just Merry Christmas. But what is Merry Christmas? What's the story? What's the context behind that wording? When you look into the syntax of it, the words, break it down. What does it symbolize? That's when you could think, but it's just wording. Yeah, you might, but we in our position as imams or scholars or whatever you want to term it, it's a bit more than just that. It's today is this, then happy Diwali, happy, I don't know, the Hindu festivals, and they are definitely, mushrikeen, and Christmas is what Christians simply believe he is the Son of God incarnated, and we don't believe that.
Yeah, I think it's very interesting. It's a few very interesting points.
Stay away. Avoid.
So basically, just avoid it and don't do a Mo Salah.
And Mo Salah, I mean, you see, Egypt's becoming inclined. Even the religious clergy within Egypt, if Al-Azhar is giving a fatwa of such, then Egypt is becoming very, very, relaxed in these issues. Very relaxed. And there have been some dubious fatwas come out of Al-Azhar. It's a fatwa, end of the day, it could be wrong. It's not. The Quran, it's not nas.
It's not law, is it?
It's not a law. It's just what they from their research have done. Okay, no problem. You could be right, you could be wrong, you could be rewarded, you could not be rewarded for it, etc. You could get double the reward for it, and that's why. But not in defense of Muhammad Salah. He is a world figure. He has a lot of non-Muslim followers. He doesn't need to. He should avoid it. He's a Muslim. And a lot of Muslims are speaking up, even against big mashayikh. They have wrought, well, why? Why are you just normalizing this? Today is this, what's tomorrow? Where do you draw the line? Where do you draw the line? Can you then now say we can go into a church and pray with the cross in front of you? What's next? Yeah. So why open that door of uncertainty? Leave it shut. Avoid, and that's what that's the stance and approach we should take. Yeah. And khair, alhamdulillah. There's khair, alhamdulillah.
So we're touching January transfer window is going to be going off soon, isn't it?
Yeah. Let's conclude the segment with a roundup of the year's sports. And if you want to start with the January transfer window,
I think it'll be a big one for Newcastle, though, won't it?
names are being dropped.
Yeah, Newcastle be.
Yeah,
I mean,
they've got daft money, aren't they? They've got the big time money.
What if they get relegated, man?
They'll probably come back up anyway.
If there's anyone that's going to allow them to stay up, is let's start with Manchester United. They're still losing 1-0, aren't they?
Still 1-0, eh?
It's good for
You know, you United fans, I just love it. I just love it. You know, when you think that because of your history and prestige, that you are up there. No, you're not. You're not, mate.
Club in transition.
Hello, Arsenal are ahead of you right now. There's a long way to go. Talk. United fans who are watching and sat in the studio, talk. Long way to go. But as it stands, you are.
1-0, yeah.
I used to, remember they used to do these Liverpool fans, bro. The tables have turned.
Liverpool fans.
Yeah,
don't get started on Liverpool
I had
fans.
30 years of this.
Please, you know.
So I remember our last title. I remember the recent one. So I know.
I
feel
Liverpool fan next
pain.
to me, brother.
I feel the pain because I've been there myself.
Yeah,
but, no, personally, I think he's a good manager, and I think if they listen to him,
Klopp's a stud, you know. Tuchel's a stud.
But if they listen to him and if they act on what he's going to,
it's going to take time.
It will take time.
It's going to take time.
It will take time.
And 6 months is not enough time.
I mean, the funniest, you say highlights of the year, one of the funniest parts of the year was I was on the plane to Turkey, and I landed, and we didn't, obviously you don't have Wi-Fi there, don't have the SIM, we got into a taxi and they had the Wi-Fi, put the phone on, and suddenly the phone exploded, and I'm looking, and like 5-0, I mean, for all the, the hilarity that ensues as a Liverpool fan, that, and trust me, I laughed that day. At the end of the day, you don't want United to fall that low that you're hammering them 5-0 on a regular basis.
It was Ole, man. Ole didn't have a clue.
Exactly, and that's what I never.
The worst thing was Ole. Liverpool fans is saying, "Love, keep him there, man. We love him."
We all saying it.
We love Ole apart from United.
I would have paid his wage. Please.
We were launching a campaign trying to keep him. It was ridiculous. But how did?
I think there was a petition sent to Parliament.
No, but how did a club like United? Okay, he's a legend. Don't get me wrong, but. The only experience he had of the Premier League was relegating Cardiff. Yeah. He won a couple of titles in Norway, and suddenly he's got one of the biggest jobs in football. It was ridiculous. And even when he was appointed, I thought, okay, hang on a minute, this isn't going to end well. Even when he got second last year, you're flattering to deceive. This guy's got a little bit about him. I think, well, don't say hopefully, but he'll sort of get you back on your feet. How long it'll take? Remember, it took Klopp about 4 or 5 years.
Well, Man City won the title.
Yeah, okay.
They won the title, didn't they?
They did, but
in May they lifted the title.
This Guardiola team's gone next level, man.
He's got better.
He's gone from City. Yeah.
Obviously, I'm a massive Pep Guardiola fan. I love the guy. I think he's a genius in the game. He went from a student to becoming the professor, the master of footballing. Just the intricacies, the attention to detail, bro. He won the title without a striker. We underestimate that this is the best league in the world, everyone says, to win it across 38 games without an out-and-out striker, not having the top scorer. Mohamed Salah, respect to you, bro, you've done that. But this guy, and then again, you know what? You think, okay, what are you doing? Okay, we've done well. Aguero's injured. Dada is gone. But he's going another season without an out-and-out striker.
I think...
What is he doing right then?
No, I think with last season, what you can say is that if he hadn't won the title there, there'd have been questions asked. The reason being, Chelsea were in sort of
ascendancy.
Not ascendancy. They were in transition. They had Frank Lampard at the beginning. They changed over halfway through.
Tuchel took over.
Liverpool had the whole back line decimated the whole way through the season until the very end, and it took them time to get going. Arsenal, they're a joke. And United snuck in.
Arteta's doing all right. They're turning it. He's got some youngsters playing.
Now they are. Yeah,
I'll tell you who's dark horses.
Martinelli, mate. What a player.
No, Arsenal are not dark horses.
No, Martinelli.
They're fooling you.
No, but what I'm saying
when they come up against a big club, they lose.
No, but
they beat all the little ones. The problem is we are not giving attention to Tottenham. I am telling you, Antonio Conte is an Italian.
This season, though, it's a different kettle of fish. This season, it is a genuine three-way race.
It is.
And if they win it this year, then credit to him. Then you can say, okay, last year, I reckon it was if he hadn't won it, that you'd have been asking.
Yeah,
questions.
Liverpool's injuries, wasn't it, last season?
Okay, Liverpool's
come on,
injuries,
Liverpool-
etc.
injuries,
But let's be honest, it did well. Look, Gundogan scored the most goals.
Yeah.
Foden was
Yeah,
chipping
he would
in.
perform. His players
Sterling was
perform.
chipping. You know,
But then it was there for them to win. You know,
but they didn't win the
Champions
Champions League,
Now,
which
if
is
you-
the
if you
Holy
if you
Grail.
Flick onto, and I was going to come to that. If you flick onto the Champions League, that was the one that he wanted.
Yeah, but Akif, they got to a final from
They got
from quarters to semi to final. He's not far off.
It isn't, but it's.
And I'll tell you what I think is his core players have played long enough. De Bruyne, Sterling, Mahrez, Bernardo Silva,
Yeah.
you know, Kyle Walker.
Walker's been there.
They have been there long enough
Yeah.
that they know what to do now. That's why
yeah, but
they will always tick.
I don't think the issue is them come to the semi-finals and finals. He goes
Now
off
they've
on
got the
one,
experience
and
now.
he suddenly but it's Guardiola himself. Suddenly he starts changing things for.
Yeah,
He
'cause
does.
that's
He
not
makes
part
the
of
daft
it.
decisions.
Yeah,
He goes
yeah,
and puts two
yeah.
sitting midfielders.
Or he doesn't play with the defensive midfielder. I
He
mean,
didn't win.
Yeah.
He didn't win it at Bayern Munich as well, did he? The
and
Champions
and
League.
this is the thing about him. Okay,
Did he win it
for
at Bayern Munich Champions League?
No,
No,
he
he
didn't.
didn't.
He got to
Last time.
semis. He
He
got
only
to
won
three
the
semis
Champions League with Barcelona.
Barca with Messi, wasn't it?
twice. But you know, be not fooled. Be not fooled, bro. He will. I think he will take the. He's just one win away from basically that.
Pound for pound, Klopp's better.
No,
Yeah, better than Guardiola.
my brother is a Liverpool
Come on,
fan.
you're a
Let him
Liverpool
answer.
fan. You say no.
No.
Come on, Bob.
Pound for pound.
Both
Come
are,
on.
both are good managers.
Come on,
It's
brother.
very, very different techniques in which they think it.
One's,
take
Look
the
at
games.
Klopp's
We were looking
next
to win.
Look how much money.
Yeah, yeah. No, from that point of
Guardiola
view,
spent
yes.
over $1 billion
Yeah.
and not won the Champions League. Over £1 billion on his team.
I agree
No,
with
but he
him
knows
there.
what to buy.
What do you mean he hasn't won the Champions
but-
League?
No,
Cuz?
but it doesn't matter.
Jurgen Klopp's won the
no,
Champions
I
League.
mean,
Oh,
he's
you're
got,
gonna-
he has got a point there. In
Come
terms
on,
of,
boys,
in
man.
terms of net spend.
Wake up, man.
Right.
It's not
Klopp's
the
got
coffee, boys.
Yeah, but how much does United spend?
But I'm not talking about
They can't even
United.
get to top four now.
I'm
No,
talking
no,
about
but-
United.
That's a what about area there? You've
No,
just
no,
linked
but
that. We're
let me
talking about
let me
two-
finish the
talking
point. My
about
point is, you're
City
saying
and
money.
Liverpool.
You're judging it based on money.
Yes.
You simply he
Compared to
spent
Klopp.
more, therefore he should be successful.
Klopp
Should be.
spent.
Right. So Man United have spent, they should be successful.
I'm not saying that.
Okay, so
You're
money is
saying-
not.
So okay, so
talking
no,
about
taking
one
that
win.
argument. No, I'm gonna.
It's one win.
No. Taking
yeah,
that
yeah,
argument,
hold
we
fire
know
then.
Guardiola is better manager than Oli was. That's the argument you've put there. Yes, no one's disagreeing
No
with
one
that.
disagree with that.
The
money that's been spent.
The argument is
No Champions League.
pound,
Come on, bro.
pound for pound. Klopp versus
You think he's not going to win it?
No, I don't think he is. I think look how Klopp's today, bro. The guy's barely spent out.
I would say
I'll,
this.
I'll tell you
He's
something.
sold
If I
for
look at the
Liverpool
time-
as a
Coutinho,
club,
man,
Arsene
he-
Wenger said it.
You're right.
30 years, they didn't win nothing. My
Oh,
brother,
no, we didn't-
listen,
not
let me finish the
nothing,
point.
come on.
What did couple of cups? Let
Only
me
couple
let me
of
let me let me
cups.
finish
Yeah.
Wenger's quote. Let me
Okay.
finish. You know, it's got that music on TikTok. I tell you what, Wenger knows football.
Yeah,
Arsene
he
Wenger
does.
knows
Without
football.
doubt.
30 years, he goes, Liverpool weren't winning. But on a Champions League night, when that cop sang, my brother, they'd win a Champions League. In 30 years, they won how many Champions Leagues?
Yeah, they won 2, didn't they?
2. Now 3. This was the third. innit?
No, this was the second.
Benitez.
Yeah, Benitez was 1.
And then before that,
No, the none for 30
right,
years.
okay.
Yeah.
So on the big Anfield nights, you see, that's the difference. Liverpool have that prestige and history in the biggest European Cup. Over 38 games, they can't do it. Pep Guardiola is actually a better manager over 38 games. We've seen that. Everywhere he goes, he wins the leagues.
Because he's,
When it
no,
come-
no, again,
Yeah, 'cause
again,
he spent over
because he
$1 billion.
spent
Let me
more
finish.
money and because he gets the best players. He wants a
Ah,
left
he
back.
doesn't-
No, come on.
Yeah, come on,
He
you
wants
know.
a left back. He spent 70 million pounds.
He inherits
Right,
the world's
Well, the world's
greatest
best
squads
team.
all the time.
Brother, you feeling on
Barcelona,
Come on.
Barcelona.
it? Bayern Munich didn't have the world's greatest
Of course
team.
they did, man.
Barcelona didn't have the world's greatest
they did.
team.
Barcelona
Brother,
did.
who did he put in?
Come
He
on, you
had
know.
the Messiah graduates.
Rijkaard give him.
What did he give him? He got rid of Ronaldinho.
Come on, man.
Next.
He had Messi there, man.
Messi was just starting.
Messi
He
would
made
have
Messi.
come on, no,
right?
no.
They're the one.
Messi was there.
Oh my God, Messi
on,
was
there,
who?
come on,
Who refined Messi?
Always saying,
Who was the man behind Messi's greatest
All,
seasons?
listen,
Pep.
and again, all that was about 10, 15 years ago. Now we're talking every
No,
every
okay.
team he's
So Man
had
City's
since. No,
okay.
every
All
team
right.
he's
When he
had
went to
since,
Man City, who did he have?
he had a very good team there.
Who?
Come on.
It was,
Who was he bought in?
Whose team?
No,
did he
Cancelo is bought
He
in.
had Aguero
Diaz
already
bought in.
there. He had
Ederson, who was
Correa
it? Joe
there.
Hart was his keeper.
Yeah,
He got rid of him.
Yeah,
right?
And he
Kyle
bought in a
Walker,
he bought
who
in
was
a
the
50
right back,
million
he went and
pound
bought Kyle Walker,
70 million there.
right?
70
No, but
million.
he knew he identified who he
That's
needed
fine.
to win.
No one's saying he isn't. But what I'm saying is,
I'm saying he's
another
one
manager
win
won't be able
away
to do
from a
that.
Champions League.
Yeah,
One win away. That's all he is.
If Klopp had the money to spend what Pep spent,
Yeah.
You
imagine
think he
the
would?
success.
You think he would?
No, come on, man. Let's be
No
there.
chance.
You know,
Right now, the best manager in the world is Carlo Ancelotti.
no, man.
What Ancelotti is doing at Madrid,
Klopp.
Again,
my brother, no Ronaldo, no. What he's got a great squad.
Yeah, he
Oh
sold
my
it.
God!
Yeah, he sold
The
it.
aging midfielders, 36 Madrid.
Yeah, he
Look at
sold
the guys.
Coutinho. Yeah, and he bought Alisson and Van Dijk.
Yeah.
Best business that he
This
did.
is a Man United fan.
I'm telling you down the middle. I told you I'm
This
going to
is-
say down the
this
middle.
is a Man
My
United
brother,
fan telling
he
you
was a
that.
hardcore Ole Gunnar Solskjaer fan. What did you know about
Radical,
football?
radical.
Ole
I'm
Gunnar,
gonna give
hello.
him hope in it. But I'm
What are
saying,
you on?
no, listen.
Let's conclude this one. They're both good managers.
They're both good managers. Klopp's
I think
better.
Pep is it.
In terms of
Pep
the
is it.
football that they play,
No, I don't-
Pep is it.
Guardiola's nicer on the eye. They dominate the ball
Klopp's
in a
next level,
different
you know.
way. Klopp, it's a lot more hard running. It's a lot more. Takes a lot more out of a team
Yeah,
over a
and-
season.
And he's been giving it to him each season as well. The 1
Yeah.
point behind last time.
It's an interesting one.
They're always gonna have an
But
edge.
flicking on away from Premier League and that, we had the Euros, didn't we?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
that was a
yeah.
big tournament. England so close
Yet so far.
so far. Yeah, I know some of you. aren't
All hail
England fans.
Chiellini for the push
Euro
on
champion.
Saka.
Yeah, that was
Unbelievable defending.
experience.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like if that's something you would do on a Saturday,
Listen, that I understand exactly what he did, exactly why he did it.
and you're rating for it.
No, I don't rate him.
course
for him. I
you
hate him
do.
for it. Obviously, I'm
No,
gonna
no, you
hate
don't
him for
hate-
it.
hate
As an
him,
England
man.
fan, as a hardcore England fan, I absolutely hate
Well,
him for it. But
they
it's one of
didn't.
those, isn't it?
They were never gonna.
As soon as you got to penalties, you knew what the result were. But there's always that bloody hope, isn't there?
Element,
That
yeah.
hope.
Oh, they give you some right
kills
hope.
You. Kills you. How many? I think it's
Dunya
about,
mean पर कहीं में
Yeah,
जनाब.
that-
I
that
think
was
it's
the
about 9
disappointment.
penalty shootouts I've seen over the years. Every single time.
The
Yeah.
T20 World Cup, Pakistan so close.
Pakistan is
Yeah.
really well, man.
But I tell you, Australia were too strong. Just
Yeah,
a
I
great
thi-
unit.
You know,
You know your
Australia
cricket-
always have a solid team, man. But I think Pakistan, for the team, they wasn't expected to go that far, and they did really well. They
Messi Ballon d'Or. I don't want to start a debate, but
were- yeah,
just let's
No,
get.
I don't
he didn't
think so.
deserve it,
I
man.
don't think he deserved it. Is it?
Lewandowski
Class player,
deserved
don't
it.
get me wrong. And I said
Lewandowski
this
should have
earlier,
got it.
both of them are class, but it's just him and
But you
Ronaldo,
just switch, flick the camera up. You know.
Yeah, just remember the watch now. He's in the go on about Messi being 7th Ballon d'Or winner, and this started, and basically what's gonna happen is La Liga's injecting cash into Barcelona as we speak, mate.
And Barcelona and
all
Real Madrid
corrupt,
have
mate.
no. They've opposed it.
They're all corrupt. No, they opposed it first on the Messi deal. They're now taking the cash. And
No,
they're
they
trying to
haven't.
They're
They've
buying
opposed
your
it.
boy Ferran Torres, man. How they getting the
Ferran,
they got the money
they
from
can
there?
get Ferran Torres.
No,
They've got enough
57.
money.
No,
My
they-
brother, they have opposed it. Read the articles.
Come on.
Real Madrid and
Corrupt.
that opposed it. It's not in their favour. It's in the favour of
Messi's
the
corrupt,
club.
man. Shouldn't have won that.
But it doesn't matter. The point is, Messi's won the Ballon d'Or.
He did win it, but come on, do you
Argentina. I
think,
think Argentina.
based on
Argentina, bro.
No, listen,
That one trophy is one for
Yes,
them.
but it's, you don't
Nobody
win-
can
you
say now,
don't-
you didn't win nothing for the
I'm not arguing
Argentinians.
that. What I'm saying is
They didn't
all-
win since 1994,
No,
something.
no. What I'm saying, not based on that, because he's a quality player. He's been a quality player for years. But based on the performances this year alone, or even last season, did he deserve to win it? Were there better players out there that
Lewandowski
should've
or
won it?
Benzema.
No, Salah,
There you go.
Lewandowski,
And
Benzema,
It should have been
goals
done
and
three.
assists. Yeah, but you know what? There's chances. They've had chances. They have chances.
Who missed it?
1-1.
1-1.
Edinson Cavani, Manquillo.
Get in. The Ralph master plan is ongoing. Get in.
If you're into like fantasy Premier League, then you'll know what I'm on about when I say Manquillo. and
Yeah.
that. Akiv's got Manquillo in his team. And there goes his clean sheet, sir.
Yes, never mind.
So your
right,
prediction,
so
obviously,
Messi.
is Premier League prediction for this season is going to be Man City, obviously, Imam Sab.
I think Man City will win it.
I think it's going to be tight. It's going to be within a couple of points, like about a couple of years ago. Man City might pip Liverpool to it. I just got this feeling, but
And expect Antonio Conte to pull some.
I don't
miracles
think
off.
that you're going to win the European Cup. I think European Cup will
I think Real Madrid PSG is a big tie. It's going to be a good juicy tie. That it'll be a big test for PSG. If they lose that, then
Corrupt draw as well, wasn't it?
oh my god.
Yeah, it was corrupted draw. They had two teams drawn twice. Come on, bro. It's what it is. This Messi and Ronaldo debate. I think we just need a special.
I think you're against
episode.
UEFA.
No, we're not. We're just against any wrongdoings. And Barcelona, It's known for corruption, sir.
They're not even in the Champions League, you know. They went to the Europa League. Get over it.
No, we're not on about that. We're on about how corrupt it is and Ballon d'Or being rigged.
Oh my God!
Sam, what do you
Please
think?
just get over it, Nazim. Please.
I'll be honest with you. You shouldn't have won it this year.
No, you shouldn't have
won it this
There
year.
you go, thank you. 2 against 1,
I
mate.
think most people would agree.
My brother, if we went on statistics and who scores the most goals and assists,
But
then
he
there's
didn't score the
years
most
where
goals,
Messi didn't receive
Listen,
it.
Tadic got more, broke his world
but
record for
we're
37
So
assists.
Tadic should have got it then.
Huh?
Tadic should have got it.
But Tadic has broke Messi's
Yeah.
record.
No, so
When
you
is that
should
for Tadic?
give Tadic the Ballon d'Or.
If you're going
Ring Gianno
records
Infantino and that.
stats.
Gianni Infantino.
Records-
Yeah, no, it's not about stats, my brother.
I mean,
Yeah,
you said yourself you named 3 players that played better than
They
him
played
over the
well.
year.
Exactly.
They played better
But
than
for
him.
me,
Biased,
the edge was what he did for Argentina. That was a big move. That was the queen on the chessboard.
Totally cop with them, mate.
That was the queen on the chessboard. Bro, come on, man.
No, eh?
Come on, man. Argentina, my brother, against Brazil in Brazil.
And
5 goals, 5 assists. He was the best player in that tournament.
no doubt about it.
You've got to
but-
win big
but
trophies. He
to
won a
win-
big
to-
trophy.
To be the name the best player for the year, he has to be over the year, not just one little blip.
And
in there.
over the year he was.
I don't
He
think
took
it
a
was.
shit Barcelona to a very good standard.
I don't think it did.
No, I don't think it was either. That
I
settles
think
that
they were,
then.
they were better players.
Lionel Messi
Paul.
is just overhyped.
Excuse.
I don't know. I won't go as far as say he's overhyped. That you're-
Hype it up a little bit.
No,
Yeah.
no,
Like,
no.
why
I won't go say I've got to be thinking that.
Overhyped.
I don't say he's
Overhyped,
overhyped.
man.
What's Ronaldo doing?
Oh, CR7's the man. Yeah, I don't worry
I
about
hope he comes up clutch,
I
man.
won't get involved in that. This debate. I'll let you two deal with that. But,
Ya Rob.
So what's the plans for 2022? What's the vision? What's the...
well, World Cup next year. This time next
Oh,
year,
yes.
it'll be concluded, or
Is
it'll
it
be
in
just
Qatar?
about concluded. Yeah, Qatar is starting in November, ending about this time, so that'll be interesting. Some Italy again if they qualify. I hope they don't.
Ronaldo and Messi's potentially like, oh, Ronaldo's got the showdown playoff in it.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes, he
so
has.
a lot of them haven't even secured the spot yet.
Holy, that's going to be
England are
very
there.
interesting.
What if they don't get there then?
They're right
What?
Will he go down as the GOAT?
Well, do you remember against Sweden when he banged that hat-trick in and he took his country single-handedly?
Chalo,
Do you remember?
let's see.
Yeah, so don't
Let's see.
underestimate. He does it all the time. He steps. This is the problem with Ronaldo. He does. If Ronaldo went to PSG and didn't score all them goals and all them games and then went on a drought, but they'll say he's finished. His Lionel Messi is all right, you know.
No, they're saying he's
Sí,
finished.
Dios.
They're saying it to Messi.
Oh,
He's
yeah,
playing.
man.
Listen, I think
But you forget.
both now are on the way down. But if you're not on the way down at 36, when are you going to be on the
He's
way
not
down?
on the way down. Oh, you can't say he's on the way down. The guy were doing the gen pressing that last game that I know. We were pressing, mate. We were pressing.
Man, I swear.
We were pressing.
You are on your last legs for this podcast, sir. You better watch
You
what
are,
you
mate.
say.
You were alright. We need to stop.
Let's just
winding Imam
conclude.
Sab
Let's
up
wrap
now.
it up. What 2022? Well, Inshallah, I'm hoping it's
2022,
gonna
you
be a
will
good year.
Have another variant coming out, which people are going to panic about. You're going to probably have more restrictions. Hopefully, we'll have everything lifted in the summer again. It'll be a repeat of this year, more or less. Let's hope we
Yep.
have a good World Cup, and that'll distract us a little bit.
At the end of next year.
Hmm?
At the end of next year.
Yeah, by end of next year. But you know, you got to take it as it comes, isn't it? Hope, inshallah, things will get better, and hopefully, you know, we'll learn to live with it. This COVID is here to stay. Unfortunately, we've just got to manage and make adaptations and go with it.
I'm hoping the Faith Care will be fully operative. Good news, we've actually got potentially another site in Bradford.
Wow.
That's good.
So that's in the pipeline.
We
Not
were-
far off. It's going to be in the town centre.
Oh, that's good.
So I'm hoping, and at the same time, I'm hoping the nursery will finally be approved and will be opening. So
I mean,
Looking
you
forward to
mentioned it. These projects like the Faith Cave are very, very important for our kids, especially in times like these when you know we're having all this upheaval. I mean, I took a set of kids down there yesterday, didn't we?
yeah.
And the big hall there, we had an absolute laugh. We tried not to break your projector, and we did a good job. But
I hope Nav's not watching.
yeah, it's all good. But you know, the hall there, the facilities there were absolutely brilliant. Kids loved it. We just need to sort your heating out.
Heating, yeah.
They've sorted it. They've sorted it. Heating's been sorted.
No, we've
No?
still
No,
got.
we had issues yesterday.
I think
We'll
80
talk about this.
Yeah.
But yeah, but otherwise-
Eating's going to get sorted.
yeah. But
We've
I
got a
mean,
plan.
we need you do need more sites like that, and you know, you need to be credit where credit's due. You put your money where your mouth is, and I'm sure generations who will use those facilities will thank you for it, because we haven't
Inshallah.
had it. We've lost generations because we haven't had these
Sort of
facilities.
spaces and
Yeah,
facilities,
exactly.
yeah. So no, Faith Cave's going to be huge. I think the nursery is going to be equally as big for the 3 to 4 year olds. within our community, and I'm hoping the madrasa masjid continues the way it is, and that's it. Just carry on, and I hope we get to win something with Fairbank and Bullroyd. Both clubs are in the race for the title.
If things don't,
if things don't get postponed, curtailed, and
before,
we've got a very good chance, I hope, and I'm hoping that we will take it and get it to where it needs to be, inshallah azza wa jal. But I think that's 2021 wrapped up, sir.
Yeah, no.
Promote the podcast, please, guys. Like, subscribe, share, get the word out. Thank you very much to Akif for coming on for another review.
So it'll be this time next year again.
This time next year, be ready.
Well, time's going fast, guys. I think that's
true.
one thing we want to.
It only seemed like yesterday we sat up there.
We should conclude on. That time's just flying, man.
Yeah.
They say that
No barakah left. No barakah left in time.
Mom said in the last days, they say that time will go
very quick.
Very quick.
And we are now in a time where there's no barakah left.
In time itself.
In time.
Going quick.
No, I think one of the things we need to do, try to make an effort, is make sure we stick with our families over the year and sort of have that quality.
Appreciate that more.
And as a new father, inshallah, you'll be enjoying the sleepless nights and the changing of the nappies over the next year.
It'll be alright.
So that'll be an interesting experience for you, and it will be new experiences each year that will bring those. So we'll see how we get on.
Inshallah. Look forward to it. Nazim, thank you very much. Be ready. The next podcast will be in a couple of weeks, and we've got a special guest hopefully lined up.
Inshallah.
Up and coming, hopefully world champion to be boxer.
Wow.
Very, very hopeful that Amin Janze will be joining us.
Inshallah.
And we can talk about his journey,
his movement.
He's
the ring.
And we're gonna be interrogating him. We'll be doing all that, Nazim. So be prepped for that.
Inshallah.
And we've got a lot more content to come on the platform. We're hoping to do a lot more podcasts. We get people like Akif and others involved on board, and just bring the best possible content on a platform like this. Let's talk with Imah. Subscribe, follow, and inshallah azza wa jal, we will see you again. Same place, same time, but in a couple of weeks. Jazakumullah khair.
Jazakallah.
Thank you very much. See you guys later.
Next episode, inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.